Have you ever really thought about how some products just become part of us? How a simple object you buy can actually start to define who you are? Well, today we're going to dive deep into that using the wild journey of a Tesla owner as our guide. Let's break down exactly how this happens, step by step. And this right here, this is the whole game. This is the central idea we're going to unpack. See, it's never just about the car, is it? It's about the story we buy into, the identity we purchase. And sometimes that story can feel even more real than the thing itself. So, how does it all begin? Well, it doesn't start on the highway. It starts in the showroom. And it begins with an experience that is meticulously designed to feel like you're anywhere but a car dealership. Right away, you need to forget everything you know about high-pressure sales floors. The first thing you notice is it's like an art gallery, or maybe a tech museum. The space is deliberately minimal, super clean, and almost eerily quiet. And this is all by design, of course. The whole atmosphere is intentionally calm, it's curated. There's none of that usual chaos or that feeling of being hunted by a salesperson. The entire environment is engineered to do one thing: get you to lower your guard and just explore. And then you realize what's missing: the silence. There are no engines rumbling, no salespeople shouting. And that quiet, that is the very first signal that you are about to encounter something fundamentally different. It's this unspoken promise that what you're looking at isn't just a car, it's from the future. And this is where the magic really kicks in. These first interactions, they create a bond. The car doesn't just sit there, it anticipates you. The handle presents itself, you get inside, and the whole interior is just this single clean screen, putting you in total command. But it's that first night, plugging it into your own home. You're not just refueling, you're integrating this incredible piece of tech into your life, into your sanctuary. And right there, whether you know it or not, the decision stops being purely logical. Okay, so that's the seduction. Now let's look at the next phase, which is where this purchase really starts to morph into a huge shift in identity. This is the moment the car stops being just an it. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? Before, a car is just a tool. After, it becomes a conversation piece, something you need to protect. You find yourself parking way out at the end of the lot, right? But listen to the language. You go from saying it's charging to she's charging. That's not just a cute little quirk. That's a massive psychological tell that this object is becoming a part of you. Then, of course, your social life gets involved. And this part is crucial. Your friends start to poke fun at you, all right, we got it, you bought a Tesla. And that feeling of being kind of mocked or misunderstood, it pushes you to find validations somewhere else. You go looking for your tribe, and you find them online, in forums, and local owner meetups. Places where your new obsession isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. You found your people. But that sense of belonging, well, it can escalate really fast. You start to evolve from just a happy customer into a full-blown brand evangelist. The immersion becomes total. So you go to your first local meetup, and you're surrounded by other owners. And bam, this incredibly powerful psychological principle just kicks right in. You see someone with a more expensive, faster model. You don't necessarily feel jealous, you feel motivated. You start comparing. You start wanting the next best thing, trying to climb this invisible social ladder within the group. And as your investment, we're talking time, money, ego, the whole shebang, gets deeper and deeper, another mental process starts up. What happens when you hear someone criticize the brand or its famous CEO? It creates this mental static, this discomfort. And to make it go away, it's just so much easier to reject the criticism and double down on your belief than it is to admit you might have made a very, very expensive mistake. And you can see this manifest in very specific ways. Suddenly you're spending hours on YouTube and forums. You've already upgraded your car. You can look at another Tesla on the road and instantly know its specs, its status, the brand's identity, and your own are fusing together. And it all leads to this critical point. An attack on the brand no longer feels like a product review. It feels personal. It feels like an attack on you. But you know how this story goes. No product, and certainly no identity built on one, is ever perfect. And eventually, that perfect, shiny image is going to collide with a much, much messier reality. So imagine this. Your car develops a serious safety issue, something like phantom braking out on the highway. You have to report it. But as you're filling out the form, you feel this pang of guilt, of disloyalty. I mean, just think about that for a second. The emotional bond is so strong that criticizing a manufacturing defect feels like you're betraying your own team. And then, suddenly, you can't unsee the problems. The phantom braking is real. You read an article about quality control issues, and now you start noticing the little things you dismissed before, a bubble in the paint, a panel gap that's just a little too wide. And what sets in isn't quite regret. It's something way more powerful, the fear of regret. Because if this massive investment was a mistake, what does that say about you? And all of this leads to the final act, the moment of clarity where you finally pull back the curtain and understand what it was you were really buying this whole time. For the first time, you do the actual math, the car payments, the insurance, the depreciation, everything. The total cost of owning this car for 5 years, over $110,000. The number is just stark, and it forces you to ask a really tough question. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? If you strip away the object, what's left of the identity? If your sense of self, your story is all tied up in this car, who are you when you walk away from it at the end of the day? It's a deeply uncomfortable question, but it's a necessary one. Because here it is. This is the real product. Tesla wasn't just selling a car, they were selling a package of incredibly powerful social signals. You weren't buying transportation, you were buying a personality you could broadcast to the world. The car was a shortcut to saying, I am smart, I'm successful, I am ethical, and I've made it. And that brings us right to our final and most crucial takeaway. The most powerful products, and maybe the most dangerous, are the ones we allow to become part of our sense of self. Because look, when a normal product has a defect, you return it for a refund. But when a product that has become your identity has a defect, it forces you to question who you really are. It's not a product recall, it's an identity crisis.